10 has insisted that the Prime Minister will fight off any attempt to remove him as leader.
Well, in a bid to shore up the Prime Minister's position, Downing Street warned that any plot against his leadership could risk unsettling the markets.
Allies of Sir Keir have accused Cabinet Ministers Wes Streeting of conspiring against him. He's denying that this morning.
No, and I think whoever's been briefing this has been watching too much Celebrity Traitors, and this is just about the worst attack on a faithful I've seen since Joe Marler was kicked out and banished in the final. It's totally self-defeating briefing, not least because it's not true. And I don't understand how anyone thinks it's helpful to the Prime Minister either to suggest he's fighting for his job at a time when, last time I saw him on Monday evenings talk about violence against women and girls and how we tackle it, he's fighting for the country and trying to turn it around.
So that's Health Secretary Wes Streeting making light of those rumours this morning on the Media Round. We were hoping to have him on the Media Round, and we were hoping to have him on GB News Breakfast this morning, weren't we?
Well, as soon as we are the #1 news channel, get more viewers than any other news channel in the mornings.
It would have been nice to have spoken to him, but we were told that he didn't have time to speak to GB News Breakfast.
Can't squeeze us in. Thankfully, the Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick can squeeze us in, and he joins us now. Good morning to you. I'll put to you what I put to Daisy Cooper an hour ago.
You have to excuse the... You have to excuse the clowns I have behind me. It's not David Lammy this time. It's even worse.
Oh, no.
OK, well, I can't quite see what they're saying, but I look forward to reading those placards. Is this a government in freefall?
Well, it's end of days stuff, isn't it? You've got the most unpopular Prime Minister ever. You've got the most unpopular Chancellor since records began, who's about to break the manifesto commitment and increase income tax in her budget in a couple of weeks' time. The country is basically going to pot at the moment, with NHS on strike, open borders, prisoners being released, and yet this weak and paranoid Prime Minister is now turning on his own cabinet and machine gunning his own ministers. It's a total mess. He just needs to get back to his day job and actually try and fix this country.
So you do want to see the Prime Minister remain in his post? You don't want to see him replaced by anybody else? I mean, names that have been put forward in the papers are, of course, Wes Streeting, who's just denied those rumours, and also Shabana Mahmood.
Well, look, it's not up to me to decide who the Labour Party have as their leader. But I will say that Keir Starmer is one, if not the worst Prime Minister I've ever known. He's got no plan. He can't command authority in Parliament. The public are sick of him. And everything feels like it's a mess at the moment out there in the country. The public, they're looking on this absolutely aghast. They just want the government to get a grip of the challenges that the country is facing at the moment. Instead, it's like a circular firing squad, rats in a sack, fighting. Get back to the day job and run this country properly.
Daisy Cooper this morning, I know I saw a tweet from Kemi Badenoch this morning saying, the Lib Dems have adopted some conservative policies. They're all backing some of your policies, and they were calling for Labour to do the same. What about the Lib Dems policy saying actually this budget should reduce VAT by 5% on, entertainment venues, pubs, restaurants, all that sort of thing to boost the economy?
Big Tech has turned your phone into a surveillance device, harvesting your data, tracking your location, and selling your information to corporations. Unplugged built the Upphone to fight back. It's the only smartphone with hardware-level privacy protection, completely blocking data harvesting at the source. It features a physical kill switch that cuts power instantly when you want to go dark, giving you control Big Tech took away. Unplugged puts privacy and sovereignty first. The Upphone is built to British standards, designed to keep your data in your hands with independent servers, its own app center, and no corporate gatekeepers. You can access what you choose. No censorship, no app bans, just freedom. Everyone else is playing by Big Tech's rules. Unplugged rewrote them. The Upphone runs on an operating system with 0 backdoors and a firewall that blocks thousands of tracking attempts every single day. The Upphone includes a host of unique security features. The device can be set to have its memory wiped regularly, and if someone demands your PIN code, well, you can give them a false PIN that will wipe the device. It's called Emergency Reset. Privacy isn't a feature with Unplugged, it is the foundation. To get yours today, click the link in the description now.
Well, look, the high street is in a real mess at the moment. What we've said as Conservatives is that we want to get rid of business rates for businesses with rateable values of £100,000 or less, and that means almost all of the cafes, the restaurants, the independent shops on our high streets wouldn't have to pay those, and that would make a massive difference right now, because as you see, high street shops and pubs are closing left, right and centre. That, I think, is the best thing that we could do to give them a shot in the arm, really help them to get through the difficult months ahead. But what's Rachel Reeves talking about? Tax rises left, right and centre, and that's going to make life even more difficult. And you're seeing the real world consequences for that, not just shops closing, but people laying off staff at the moment. Unemployment is the highest it's been for 5 years since those very challenging days of the pandemic, and it's only going to get worse as there's no strategy right now to grow the economy. And Rachel Reeves looks like she's going to make it worse in the budget at the end of the month.
David Lammy, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Justice Secretary, was on his feet yesterday, wasn't he, in the House of Commons, admitting that 91 prisoners have been released in error from April of this year to October. Of course, he was blaming his inheritance, the dire inheritance that was left before this government, spoke about accidental releases happening under the Tories' watch. So whose fault is this?
Well, look, I don't excuse a single criminal being let out of prison early. One is too many, isn't it? We don't want these people to be out on the streets of our country, posing a danger to the public. But this problem has got dramatically worse under the Labour government. There's been a 130% increase in the last year alone of the number of prisoners being accidentally released. And David Lammy admitted in Parliament yesterday that someone's being let out of jail accidentally pretty much every other day at the moment, that some of them are still out there on the streets posing a danger to the public. And there's even prisoners who he doesn't know whether they were accidentally released or not. I can't even comprehend what he means by that. Are they in their cell? Are they not in their cell? He doesn't have a clue what's going on, is the truth. And it's a serious, serious problem, because it's making a mockery of the criminal justice system, it's endangering the public, and the victims of these crimes are now very worried indeed that their perpetrators might be coming back to torment them once again. You may have seen just last week the victim of the Epping sexual assault, the young girl who had been sexually assaulted, gave really harrowing testimony that she couldn't sleep at night because she's so worried, thinking that her sexual abuser might come back to Epping, that they might meet each other once again, and that those crimes might be repeated. That is what's happening as a result of our prison system being in such a mess at the moment. And David Lammy's got to step up and get a grip. But does anyone have confidence in him? I certainly don't. I don't meet anybody who does. He doesn't give the impression he knows what he's doing.
Just before we let you go, can we get a quick word on the BBC? It's clearly in a mess. What would you like to see done? And do we need to look at political appointments to the board?
Well, look, I think the BBC have got to use this moment to change fundamentally and to restore public trust and confidence by rooting out the institutional bias that they've displayed in recent years and getting back to actually just in their news talking about the issues that we care about in this country, not obsessing about Israel and Gaza all the time or their obsession with attacking Donald Trump, but talking about living standards, the NHS, our borders, crime, the things that working people across this country are actually exercised about. If they can't do that, then I do worry about the future of the BBC. In fact, I can't see a future for the licence fee. If you want the licence fee to continue, to put it on a sustainable footing, then the BBC have got to change fundamentally the culture of the organisation and do so now as a result of this change.
Good to see you, Mr. Jenrick, this morning. Thankfully, the BBC
Nice to see you. Have a good day.
The BBC cancelled Sooty and Sweep back in the day. Unfortunately, they've revived themselves behind you, but we've tried to ignore them all morning.
Yeah, you've done very well
Yeah,
ignoring that
you.
behind you. Thank you, Mr. Jenrick.